My name is Silas Stafford, and I'm training for the 2012 Olympics in rowing. So rowing is something of an obscure sport, certainly on the West Coast, and not everyone is attracted to it. I think what initially attracted me to it was that if you look at it from the outside, it's this very, very graceful, synchronous motion of 8 large, athletic men moving perfectly together, their blades going in together, their blades coming out together, accelerating the boat together, and it looks totally harmonious and beautiful. Being on the other side of that, being in the boat, it's incredibly painful, incredibly difficult. Your legs are burning, your lungs are burning, and while you're in this, deep in the well of pain, you have to think about being perfectly in time with everyone else. Think about connecting to the water perfectly, catching perfectly, doing everything in this perfectly synchronous way. So after I graduated from Stanford, I was able to be a part of to me a very special crew, which was the U.S. Under-23 Men's 8. And the reason why it was special was that this boat is thrown together in 3 weeks from guys from all different universities, guys who've been racing against all summer and have this animosity to. And you are thrown together in this boat, and you have to form a team in 3 weeks and figure out how to row the same style, and that means compromising and making adjustments to your own stroke. And in this case, it was really especially remarkable because it clicked, and we were able to win the Under-23 World Championships in Germany, which was a lot of fun. So most days I wake up around 6 a.m., eat a quick breakfast, then head down to the boathouse and usually do about an hour row, come back and have a second breakfast, and then go back down to the boathouse for maybe a 2-hour row, and then the afternoon you eat, you take a nap, but you're kind of too tired to do anything productive, and in the afternoon you go back down to the boathouse and usually have like another 2-hour session of rowing or cross training. So I think the key for me in training for this Olympics is really just going to be focus. Moving down to the San Diego Training Center, which is where the head coaches and some of the best Olympians are, and just really putting my nose to the grindstone and putting in the hours and doing everything I possibly can be to be better. In the past, I've kind of had the security of a job and a social life and other things going on in my life, but for the next 2.5 years, it's going to be pretty much all rowing. So I think there's 2 main ways in which I motivate myself. I think the first, most important one is just breaking it down into something manageable. You can't think in 2.5-year chunks. So you first break it down to, well, I have a race in May, so I'm training towards that race in May, and then you race it down, well, there's a 6-week training cycle before that, and break that down into weeks. How can I do this week, and then break that down into days, and how am I going to succeed on this day, and then into a practice, and then into one piece in that practice, and then into 1 minute in that piece in that practice, and you just have these tiny building blocks that you assemble into a kind of larger framework. The other thing I think is really key, especially for me, is just feeding off the other guys. It's incredibly hard to show up at 6 in the morning and work out by yourself really hard. But if you show up and there's some of your best friends and training partners are there, working their asses off, doing the same thing you're doing, that's incredibly motivating, and that gets you fired up, and that makes you want to pull harder just so you can beat them, and so you can be a part of what they're a part of. So that's actually a question a lot of rowers explore a lot and kind of ingest is, why are we doing this? It's a sport that doesn't have any promise of fame or glory. No one knows anything about rowing except rowers. So why do it? And I think the best answer I've come up with for myself is that I would regret it if I didn't. And I have this incredible opportunity to, go to the Olympics potentially. And, I know that if I quit now or quit in a year's time, I would regret for the rest of my life. And you know, working or advancing my career or doing anything else is something I can always do, but this is something I can only do when I'm in my 20s. And so I try and make the most of that.